Hi guys, Steve Girardi here. Welcome to Steve Strings. Today I have another review video for you. And I should say right up front, in my assessment, this instrument is probably, if not one of the, or not the, one of the best values for a solid spruce top acoustic guitar on the market today. So today I'm talking about the Aiersi solid spruce top acoustic guitar. But before I do, I should say up front that Aiersi sent this instrument to me at no cost to me for the purpose of doing a review. But that said, this has a lot of things going on that are worth talking about. Before we look at the guitar, let's go ahead and talk about the accessories that come with this. For starters, it does come with a clip-on Aiersi branded tuner, and this is it right here. It clips right onto the headstock, works very easily. It comes with a basic capo or capo, and it also comes with a spare set of Aiersi branded strings. And the biggest accessory that comes with it is a gig bag. And I should say that this was the sort of typical sort of cordura or sort of nylon outer material. It has a couple of just sort of basic webbing straps. It does have a basic sort of a webbing carrying handle. It opens up not quite all the way, about 3/4 of the way. But the thing it does have going on is some fairly thick padding. This is probably twice as thick as the padding that I see on some other gig bags that come with relatively inexpensive instruments. So the bottom line is your instrument will be pretty well protected in a fairly thickly padded gig bag that is a fairly dense foam. Also, of course, it has this very substantial sized pocket on the front of it here, which all of your accessories and sheet music and things should be able to fit in there with no trouble. Let's talk about the instrument. For starters here, you can see that the Aiersi logo is here on the headstock, and this is, it's like a decal, but it's like a raised decal. It's sort of a silver color and looks very nice. You can see that there is a veneer of a dark wood here on the headstock, which also looks nice. And you can see it has this dark colored or black closed gear tuners. The neck is described as being made of NATO, and you can see here at the neck it has a volute. The fretboard on this and the bridge are both described as being rosewood. And you can see from the fretboard here that it has these position markers that have this sort of like a, not quite clover leaf, but it's a, I'm not sure what you would call that shape. But it has a sort of, not just a boring sort of just like a round disc. Also, this instrument does have position markers here on the player side as well. And this instrument does have black strap buttons on the lower bout and also on the heel to go with the same color as the tuning machines. The body of this instrument is described as solid spruce, and we'll come back and talk about that in details in a minute. The body is described as mahogany, and from the look of this you can see it is a laminate. They describe it as mahogany. You can see here that the body has this black ABS binding along with an additional line of white purfling and then black purfling on both sides of that binding. Also, you can see here the rosette is like a faux abalone rosette, and that is a decal with like abalone color. It is a decal, but it is underneath of the finish, and it looks, as you can see there, quite nicely done. You can also see that the bridge on this is a pin bridge with, I'm not sure what you would call it, maybe a mustache kind of a shape to it, and it does have a compensated saddle, which plainly looks like it is a plastic saddle, and the bridge also, I'm sorry, the nut also is clearly a plastic nut. From looking inside this instrument, you can see, hopefully you can see that. It does have notched kerfing inside. It has X braces on it, and this instrument does have a truss rod inside the neck as well. From looking inside, it is very neat and tidy. I did not see any significant glue squeeze out on the inside. I may have forgot to mention it, but here on the lower bout, it also has this sort of inlay down here, which matches the binding on the instrument. So overall, this thing has some really nice appointments or details that make it to look like a more expensive instrument than it actually is. Let's go ahead and talk about this solid spruce top. It is solid in that I can see here on the edges of it that there are not layers. A laminate is layer upon layer of wood stacked on top of each other like layers in a sandwich. This is not that. The typical solid spruce top instruments are usually two pieces of wood that are cut and then opened up like a book, and those are called book matched pieces of wood. So all solid spruce instruments are usually two pieces of wood that are opened like that. When I was looking at the grain on this, and hopefully you can see this, you can see that the grain is very, very tight here in the middle, and then as you go out, it gets wider, and that's also very typical of wood that isn't, perfectly quarter sawn. But I was looking at this and I saw that the grain gets tighter, the grain starts tight and then gets wider, but then it gets tight again suddenly. And I'm like, that's odd. And so I looked at it closely and I realized this is not just two pieces of wood, but you can see these are book matched, but rather it's more than two pieces. It looks like it's got two pieces here and then like two more pieces on each side. So basically they're narrower strips of wood rather than being two real big ones, which really doesn't matter to me in that the bottom line is this is still solid wood that is glued together side to side like every other type of solid wood instrument. And my guess is that's how they're able to do this relatively inexpensively. Coming back to the neck here, I don't remember now if I mentioned this or not, but this neck is plainly a bound neck, and there are no sharp fret edges. In fact, I cannot even feel the frets on this. The string action on this is good. I checked it with my string measuring ruler, and the string action is 2 millimeters at the 12th fret. I also checked all the strings going up the neck, and there's no fret buzz on any of the frets. I also checked the intonation of this, checking once these strings were tuned in open, I checked them both open and by pressing down the 12th fret, and the E string was slightly sharp and all the other strings were dead on, in tune. You heard this instrument a bit during the introduction, and I'll play it again here. And again, I should preface this whole thing by saying I am a relative novice guitar player. I usually play the ukulele, but I've been learning more about the guitar and have been really enjoying them. And this one here has certainly been fun to play with. So I will give you another sound sample here, and I will apologize for what it is. I don't use a pick. I usually do finger picking, so that's what I can share with you here today. So there you go, another sound sample. So again, overall, I would say that at $89, this thing is a super value. Again, the fit and finish on this were beautiful. I looked this thing all over looking for a finish problem, and the only thing I could find, well, I should say there were no finish problems anywhere. The only thing I found that might be considered wrong in any way was right here, and I'm sure you can't even see it. There is like a little wee, like a scratch or something, like a fingernail got dug in. That is the only thing wrong I could find with this anywhere on this guitar. So for $89 for a solid spruce top, beautiful workmanship, well done, well set up, I would say this has got to be one, if not the one of the best entry-level acoustic guitars on the market today. I hope you found today's review of this instrument helpful. If you did, please give a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of the instruments I do, or I review, or the instruments I build, please subscribe. I'd love to have you come back and see more of my videos. Thanks for watching.